Good morning, people. By the way, we changed the clocks here last night into this morning, but that doesn't change the time of the sunrise, interestingly, so I didn't feel obliged to mention that. I think it's going to affect the time for Mass this evening. It will be an hour earlier, and I forgot to mention that last night at Mass. You know, I'm 51 years almost in religious life, and besides I had a blessed family upbringing in a community that took our faith relatively seriously. And every time there's always some brokenness, some difficulties, some issues. But in general, there was a very peaceful time in a way, in that sense, at least in our environment, in my family environment. Also a lot of commitment. My two aunts and missionaries, and in Africa, and an uncle in the Philippines. And all the challenges, normal challenges of life, you know. And today we have a text that we know very well. It's the core text, really, of who we are. Completely core text. That our life reality is to love, because we are love. We are created by love. We're created for love. And so the question comes up, what's the greatest commandment? And what fascinates me recently is that despite all of the time I have spent with these thoughts, there's always a new shade, a new tinge, a new outlook, a new angle on this incredible mystery of life and love. And one of the things that has become very much in the forefront the last few days is how love grows stronger and can show its strength more when evil is abounding. And that kind of contrasts with our romantic idea of love, that love is the perfect setting, like this beautiful sunrise. Love is the great serenity we enjoy in a beautiful place with the right food, with the right people. And there's something to that, because we are made for eternity, for love, for eternity, forever. That's why we were created. That's why we were made. Do you know what that contraption is? Why is it moving? Very simply because there's a fisherman over here, and it's part of his strategy to fish, to put out bait, to bring in the fish, to get them interested. The great strategy of the Creator to make us, to create us with so much love. And yet we are so tried and tested, so our patience is tested. That's also a theme, even though it's not mentioned by verbally, it's there in the substance of the Hosea reading. Hosea is a great prophet of love, of dealing with love, of that relationship, that how God longs for our heart. And the text today is very much in that direction. And there's another text that's not in today, but it's kind of typical of Hosea that endears me a lot to him, to his thought, is, I will draw you to me, says God, by bands of love. That also implies a lot of respect for freedom. And then when we're confronted by evil, many difficulties, our love can grow a lot more, because now we have to become much stronger to continue loving. And the Hosea reading is filled with the forgiveness of God. And it's appealing with a certainly tender language. God is appealing. And that also means he's respecting us. He's like begging us to open our hearts to love. And he's ready to forgive all the failings. And he asks us only to do something in this reading also that's very much in the first commandment that we see here in the gospel today. And that is to love God with all our heart and all our soul and all our strength and all our might, with all our whole being. And the word all is there 4 times in the text, this short text of the gospel. That's the way we should love God. We love our neighbor as ourselves, and there's no more qualification with the all part, because we have to put our trust in God. Our whole being is coming from him. Our whole being will be with him always, forever. Also, the others will be with us. They're completely linked. And maybe that's a bit of a easy defect for us to fall into, that we take sides with somebody in a conflict. We have to take both sides, because each one is a person, and one could be very ruined as a person, might be an addict, might be morally bankrupt, might be engaging in horrible hostilities. But that person is a person, and that person is trapped in patterns, in childhood hurt, in enslavement to ambitions that are counter to human dignity, to the dignity of others, an exacerbated selfishness, driven to the extreme, to the elimination of the other. And there we have that great challenge to truly love the other, every other one. To love our enemies. Imagine to love our enemies. There's no person excluded from that love, no matter how maimed, how deficient, how defective, how minimal, how unimportant, how burdensome. And that will always be a challenge for us, to love the other, to love despite the evil, the difficulty, to be a person that's spreading the good and not always echoing the negative, complaining, putting the burden on others. It's a big challenge for us, for all of us, all the time. People, I wish you to become great triumphers in love, but maybe you will tell me, don't wish me that, because that means I'm going to have to be in situations of great difficulty, of great challenge. True, because that's where we grow stronger. The stronger the adversity, the stronger our love can become. The best athletes are the ones who win over the best team when the odds are most difficult. Maybe 1 or 2 players are not able to play because they became injured, or they're sick, or they had a very close family bereavement or something. When the odds are against us, that's when our love can really blossom and grow and bear lasting fruit forever. See you later, alligators.